Hey folks, let's say we have a data set at something like this, and the first thing I want to do is I want to write a query, and I want to just find the data for these external IDs. So one of the first things I've done is wrote a query, and I'm just looking for the external IDs where A is null. So back here when I'm looking at this column A, if I don't see a name here, I want to know what these IDs are. So I've got this table I can use, and then over here I'm going ahead and using a drop-down menu to find just the specific rows of data for a particular student. One of the things I don't like about the way this data was presented is I'm looking at row 1 and I don't like those underscores. So what I'm going to do is on a Mac I'm going to do Command Shift H, and I'm going to look for underscores, and I'm going to replace them with spaces. And I'm going to do that basically in this range, and I'm going to replace all, and I found 13 of them. And what that's done for me is when I come over here, I kind of like the display of this because I got rid of the underscores in there. What I want to do now is come in here and work with a conditional format, and I already have the rule written, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that, and we'll start from scratch, say done, and let's just cancel that, and let's trash that rule. Okay, what I want to do is I want this data row here to be highlighted only if for the rows that are highlighted. So notice if I switch between students, I have 15, 16 students there, but here I only have 3, and I want my alternating rows to only be effective. I mean, if I took my biggest amount, say this one, I could highlight a certain range of cells, and I could format, and I could do alternating colors. But if I do that, you can see, and get rid of that header there, my alternating colors are alternating even if I don't have any data there. What I'd like to have it just display a little better is only alternate rows based on a criteria. So let's go ahead and undo that. And what we want to do is select the data range, and let's say maybe the data would be even bigger than this. So I'm going to select what I think might be the biggest data range, and I'm going to add a conditional format, and it's going to be a custom formula, and my custom formula is going to be equal to and then not is blank. So we're basically saying it's we're starting with an and we don't want it to be blank. So then we'll start with cell B3, and we'll lock the reference B3, and then we'll finish out the we'll finish out the not, and then we have an and we're going to do is even, and then what we want to be even is the row, and then we want to finish that out, and then we want to finish out our and. And then I don't think I want the green. Let's go to something like that, a nice gray, and say done. Now what's nice about this is if I choose a different student, this one has the same number, but let's come to this one. Now notice I only get the alternating rows where I need the amount of data. Here we have a few more, and here we have a few more. What we could do, if maybe I would actually rather this be as odd, so I could come in here and go, instead of is even, we could go is odd, and then say done, and that's going to highlight my first row, which is 3, and my other rows. And then again, same thing, if I switch to a different student, it only highlights the ones that we need. So a conditional format rule that lets you highlight using this formula and not is blank is odd, row, and so forth, gives us that nice dynamic row row coloring based on a dynamic drop down.